Isn't it wild how some kitchens are designed for Instagram rather than real life? Well, today we're going to be exposing the huge kitchen design mistakes that you can't afford to make in 2025. I'm Carrie, a self-taught interior designer as well as founder of the blog Penny Modern, bringing you affordable modern home decor since 2019. I'm going to take you through some of the kitchen design mistakes that I've seen as well as how to fix them. Plus, I'm also going to show you which trendy kitchen cabinet colors designers are ditching already, and make sure you watch that, and that's going to be at the end. Let's get into it with the first design mistake, and that is around the type of cabinet doors that you select. So this one has been popping up all over Instagram Reels, as well as people's blog posts and things like that, and that is these dreamy, curved, arched cabinet doors, as well as the fluted glass that goes inside them. People think it's really Mediterranean looking, or maybe it's a cottagey vibe, but there is a major problem with this. So we are definitely seeing a huge trend across furniture design as well as home design around curves. We're seeing curved and arched mirrors, arched doorways, curved sofas, and then even scalloped edges coming up in a variety of different furniture as well as decor items. So naturally, these curved edges and curved silhouettes are going to show up in kitchens as well. But according to Decor, arched cabinetry is something that may look extremely custom and also give you a very unique vibe to your kitchen. It's something that doesn't age well, which means really it's not going to give you that timeless look that we all want in 10 years. It's also somewhat difficult to find cabinet hardware that's going to work with those arched cabinet styles. And it's also going to limit your options for future upgrades and smaller improvements. And one designer even called this style of cabinet a Pinterest filter with a short shelf life. So what should you do instead when you're thinking about your cabinet style? So if you really love that look, I say go for it and ignore other people. You need to do what you love, and a kitchen is a huge investment. But if you are interested in possibly a more timeless look, you might want to do something like a flat front cabinet, a shaker style, which has been around for a long time and it's going to continue. And then some people are moving to a slim shaker style, which just has a smaller edge around it instead of the big fat edging. So if you love the arched and curved look, there's other ways to incorporate it into your kitchen. So one way is definitely using an arched mirror, or you also could do some pendant lights that have some curves and arches to them. And those are other ways that you can add these rounded shapes into your kitchen. So if you're watching this because you're about to do a kitchen remodel or even just a mini kitchen makeover, I've got a great free resource for you. It's my kitchen budget worksheet. And this has pretty much every item that you might need to spend money on for your kitchen listed out for you so you can start building your budget. It might help you even save money. So download your copy for free down at pennymodern.com/freebies, and the link is down in the description. So this next design mistake I have personal experience with because we bought this house. It came with this kitchen, which is pretty dated, and this design mistake someone made who basically built this kitchen. So this is when you open your drawer and you cannot open it because the dishwasher is in the way. So this is one of the trickiest layout mistakes that I have seen. I almost had this in my last kitchen I renovated as well, but I was able to figure out a way to avoid it. And that is basically having these kitchen cabinet layout mistakes. This also can happen if you have perhaps an oven door that'll open and it gets in the way of the fridge if your fridge is too close to your oven. So a lot of it is around these layout mistakes where you can't get the full function of your cabinet or appliances because they're too close to something else. So this mistake is around placing priority over form or how something looks over the function. And some of this is done unintentionally, but a lot of us get stuck on how the kitchen looks and you don't really think about the functionality, about how appliances open, how doors open, if things are far enough away from each other, and that becomes a problem once you actually live in and cook in the kitchen. So there is something called the work triangle in your kitchen, which is having your stove, your sink, and your fridge all within a certain area of each other so that you can easily move from one to the other. And a lot of times in larger kitchens, the space between those things can be pretty ginormous, which really makes it a little bit more difficult to prep, cook, and clean in your kitchen. So when you're designing a kitchen, the biggest mistake I see is around corners. So any type of corner in your kitchen, you really need to make sure you really pay attention and that you have some space in order to have your appliances work and your drawers open and your doors open. So let me show you right here. So when they were designing this kitchen, here's what they should have done instead. They should have basically had a spacer right here in this corner so that this drawer and this door start over here. So that way there's plenty of clearance next to the handle on the dishwasher. The other thing that they could have done, which would have been a lot easier, is to get a dishwasher that didn't have a handle. That would have been smart, and that way you could still open your drawer. You also can get dishwashers that are not as deep. So this one is actually pretty deep. It sticks really far out from the cabinet. And so certain dishwashers, I think Bosch actually has a shorter depth, meaning it doesn't go as far back. And so you can shove it in further, and that way you'll have enough clearance to open your drawer. So what's the most awkward kitchen layout that you've seen, or these little kitchen mishaps that you've seen in a kitchen? I'd love to know. Let me know down in the comments below. So this next one is about your backsplash. Now I know we do not have a backsplash because they did have granite running up the wall here, which I ripped out because I thought no backsplash is better than seeing that granite every day, which you can see right here. But the thing about backsplashes is a lot of people love these really bold, really crazy backsplashes. So like these cement tiles that have a really bold pattern on them, or maybe it's paint grout, or maybe it's terrazzo or something else really bold, really jarring, really eye-catching in terms of your backsplash. So a lot of people really love to have some personality shine through in their kitchen, and they use their backsplash as a way. Sometimes you see it on Pinterest with these bold backsplashes that are really crazy and vibrant and colorful, but there is a slight problem with these. So according to designer Sarah Sherman Samuel, she says that really crazy bold pattern backsplashes can quickly become a bully in your room. They end up visually dominating everything else in the room, and it actually makes it harder to find things that go with your backsplash, meaning your cabinet hardware, your countertops, and your cabinet color. So what's a more timeless choice that you're not going to regret in 5 or 10 years? That's going to be something that's probably a little bit more neutral. If you do want some color variation, you can use some of those Zali or handmade tiles that have some imperfections in them, and that way you can select something that really speaks to you. You also can do just a classic subway tile in a variety of patterns. So you can do a stacked subway tile, a chevron, and things like that. I would just recommend getting a grout that's closer to the tile color that you select versus a high contrast. If you do want to try a colorful backsplash, I do have a great hack for you that is a commitment-free way to do it. So they have a lot of really cool peel and stick backsplashes, and some of them look extremely realistic. And here's a hack. So you can either apply it just to your wall, or you can actually put on contact paper, like a peel and stick wallpaper, and then apply the backsplash onto that. So it'll make it super easy to remove if you end up not liking it. So that's a great way, and it's also renter friendly, that you could try out a colorful backsplash without a huge commitment. If this video is giving you value, make sure you hit that like button. It helps other people just like you to find it. This next one is a mistake that no one really talks about until your kitchen smells like the salmon that you made 3 days ago. So there are some very minimalist kitchen trends that don't have a range hood on them. And there's also people like me that have a kitchen that has a microwave on it. And sometimes your microwave may not have a vent in it. It also may have a not very good working vent, like they don't actually suck up any smoke or smell. And improper ventilation is something that is definitely going to be a design mistake that's gonna affect your kitchen later on. So improper ventilation can really allow grease to build up. It can actually have humidity accumulate in your kitchen, which can damage the cabinetry and the paint. It could damage the paint. And I can attest that the grease buildup can get really disgusting because this is definitely not sufficient. And when I repainted these cabinets, the grease that was stuck on the cabinets above this was disgusting and dripping down and from 20 years ago. And when I was scrubbing it off, it literally smelled like a hamburger, which is just gross. So my suggestion is to definitely pick a hood or a hood vent that actually vents to the outside. That's going to be your best bet, and make sure you get a good, powerful fan that is also quiet. Now, not everybody has that luxury to be able to have the venting and the piping that's going to go outside. So you want to pick something that has a recirculating hood with filters that you can actually clean, and then make sure you clean them regularly, because if you just let them build up with all the grease inside for years, they're gonna stop working as well. And then I would personally avoid putting a microwave over your range because I just don't feel like these work very good, but sometimes there's no other option. So I would try to get the one that has the most powerful recirculating fan that you can get, and also make sure you change the filters and clean them on a regular basis. Have you ever lived in a home that didn't have a working kitchen fan? Let me know down in the comments below what that was like. I'm sure it made you maybe not want to cook things like fish, but let us know down in the comments below. So this next one is around kitchen lighting mistakes. So picture this: you are chopping up your favorite meal, you're chopping your onions or your carrots on your chopping board, and then you move a certain way and a shadow is cast over it and you can't see what you're doing, and then oops, you slice your finger open. That is because a lot of kitchens that were created in the past only have one single solitary light overhead. For many years, and especially in some tract homes, people thought that just having one single flush mount ceiling light in their kitchen was plenty of light, and nobody really needed any more than that. So many designers and lighting pros definitely agree that having just one single light in your kitchen is very uninspiring. It's also unsafe because you can't really see what you're doing a lot of the time. You definitely need to put in layered lighting in your kitchen if you are designing a kitchen from scratch, or maybe even just renovating your kitchen. So you want to have your can lights, recessed lights in the ceiling that is going to be your ambient lighting. You also want to have some task lighting, so that might be a light that is above a area that you need to do some tasks in, like over your range, or maybe it's under a place where you do your prep. And then you also are going to need some mood lighting, which could be maybe it's under your cabinets at the bottom, or maybe it is some pendant lights, and that way you're having a variety of different lighting in your kitchen, and it's going to make it look and feel more beautiful and also be more functional. A quick and easy way to add some functional and beautiful lighting is actually getting these LED light strips that go underneath your cabinets, and they're actually battery operated or they're rechargeable, and so that pretty much anybody can install them yourself, and that way you get some task lighting as well as some mood lighting. So now we are at that section where I'm going to tell you about the kitchen cabinet colors that you might want to rethink. But first, if you are looking to figure out how to decorate your home like a pro, but on a budget you can actually afford, hit subscribe. That's what we're all about here at Penny Modern. So kitchen cabinet colors is always a hot topic of what color should you choose when you're redesigning or maybe making over your kitchen, right? So there has definitely been a trend away from having all white cabinetry for quite a couple of years now, and people are doing things like a deep navy blue kitchen, an emerald green, or maybe a mustard yellow kitchen, even an oxblood red. and some purple or maroon kitchens. So those you're seeing a lot of in some of these magazines as well as on TV shows. And it's something that you might want to think about twice. So in Zillow's 2024 paint color study, they did show that buyers, if you are thinking about reselling down the road, but if you're not, then don't worry about this, but buyers actually think that overly bold colors in a kitchen is definitely something that lowers the perceived value of the entire home. And celebrity designer Nate Berkus agrees with this, and he says the bolder the color you choose, the faster it can date your space. So it's definitely best to choose a more timeless color, especially for your cabinetry. So think a warm white if you really want to do white instead of a stark, cool white. You want to do that warm white, maybe a beige, maybe a grayish. You also can choose a natural wood tone, so maybe not something super light or super dark, but something in the middle in terms of your wood tone, and that's definitely going to be a more timeless choice for your kitchen cabinets. You can still add colors in a variety of ways. So you can do things like having a kitchen rug that's going to add some color. You can add color through accessories, so like vases or bowls. You also can do things like adding art or even a lamp to your kitchen that's going to add some pops of color, and that's a great way to express your personality in your space. So be honest, if you had to paint your kitchen tomorrow and you had to select a color right now, what color would you choose? I would love to know. For me personally, I think we might go for a wood look. So you see the wood grain, a medium tone wood. When we redo our kitchen, hit subscribe so you don't miss that. But let me know what you guys want to do in terms of your kitchen cabinet color. So don't forget to grab your free gift, which is the kitchen budget worksheet, and that's at pennymodern.com/freebies. And if you want even more inspiration for your kitchen, make sure you watch this next video right here, which is all about kitchen upgrades and kitchen trends that you can consider for redesigning your space.